Hello, it's Nancy welcoming you to Garden Scroll. Okay, the garden is pretty much ready for my last little get-together. I'm not, because I don't have anything made for desserts or refreshments or whatever, but I'm going to do that, and now I think I have time, and the bird baths and everything are sort of cleaned out, which is really great. I saw a little bird over there, but I probably won't get to get it for you, but it was there. It would have been great if I could have got it right then when I was talking about it. But anyway, we've got everything sort of ready, and I do have some little fall touches here and there that I added to the garden. I missed him again. He was there, that little bird was. My husband filled up the feeders for me so that I could maybe entice a few birds to the garden while we have guests. I love to watch them, but they are pretty leery of people. If I could stay back here with them long enough, but I'm always busy doing something else, and they know it. They know I'll be gone in a little bit, so they wait till I'm gone to really show up. But I have totally worked myself to a frazzle trying to get the house a little bit clean, because you know I let that go while I'm doing the garden, and then I never really totally catch up with it, so things are always needing to be done in the house as well as in the garden, because you know the garden is a live thing, and so it's constantly changing and constantly needing the dead stuff taken out and the dead blooms taken off. It's constantly needing water. It's constantly needing to be checked for insects. And I think I've got those cucumber beetles under control this year. Last year they just totally destroyed all my beautiful chrysanthemum blooms. But they're looking great. They haven't all opened up as much as I would like for them to. But some of them are open, and I know that I've got to go ahead and have my little party. I know every year about this time that I'm lucky, very, very lucky to have the weather where I can have a little garden get together, because it won't be long now. Our days are numbered to be in the 2021 garden. And I look around and I see lots more places I could have added a little bit of a little touch for fall. But I think I'm going to give it up now and just let this be enough. At least this does set it off a bit, and I'm ready to move forward and do a little something else, get something else done. Oh, little dahlia blooms, stick around for the guests to see you, please. I'm already making lists for after the little get-together, because I'll definitely have to come and dig up my dahlias and get those put away for the winter. So this is where my husband had some bricks stacked up, and he actually got that little job done. I told someone one year when they were asking, well, what are you going to do with the brick? I said, well, we're actually planning on putting them down to make a little border around the between the grass and the garden area, but they'll probably be here for our kids to move when we die. And she laughed, but no, that didn't happen. Look, we got this done, kids, so you don't have to move all that brick, but I'm sure you're going to have a tremendous job of all this mess when we do leave. But I'm loving it now, loving this part of it. And if you saw me yesterday, I wasn't loving anything because I couldn't hardly breathe from trying to get things done, and I really didn't know what I was going to do here, but I just put some little pots up here, and I think they look good. Actually, this one was in front and it just wasn't calling attention to it, but right here it kind of is, and I like that. Of course, the beautiful daisy mums, and then the celosia that takes your eye upward to this little fall wreath that I put here on the end of this well house. And this is another one that was in the front, and you could see it in the front, but it wasn't as noticeable because it was just kind of all crammed together there in the front. And so I brought it in here, and I like it here too. As you can tell, it's a little windy this morning, but the weather is nice, and I'm so grateful that so far we've had nice weather for this, even though in between and the night of, I mean, I had to gather stuff in so fast last time, and that's one other reason that I determined to bring my houseplants in before this. So they're already in the house. They're doing great, actually, so far. You know, I don't do well with houseplants, but we'll see how they will do this year. This is another one of the little fall blooming iris that my friend Renata gave me. I actually had to wash this little bird bath in the dark last night, so, and you can tell that I did miss some, but they still look fresher and nicer than they did, and I think they'll be ready for the little get-together. Today is Wednesday, and our get-together will be Friday, so that's only a couple of days away. Oh look, my little sedum must have put some root on, because look at this bloom. I thought it was spent for the season, but it's looking pretty good right now. So I'm guessing that its root got in that soil and it decided, hey, there's no reason not to live here. I was just remembering when my brother painted these little swans for me, and he said, I want to see a picture of them when they're in your garden. And I think he just didn't think they were quite up to meeting his standards, but I think they look great, and it's wonderful that I can, you know, in my mind's eye, I can still, or my mind's ear, I guess you would say, I can still hear his voice. How lucky am I to have had a brother that knew he was dying from cancer and wanted to paint my garden art for me. He said, that'll give me something to do to keep my mind occupied. And I'm sure he was also thinking, and it will leave something of me behind. See if I can get a good shot of this black-eyed Susan vine bloom. Oh, I wish this little bloom would have waited a couple of days. And I doubt if this one behind it will be ready, but it may be. Isn't this pretty? This is one of my first daylilies besides the little yellow Stella d'Or, which I love too, but these were just so much taller and just reached right out at you in that beautiful bright color. I fell in love with it, and I've been getting daylilies ever since, even though I don't have time to deal with those because you have to divide them and put them in other places or give them away or throw them away. That's a hard thing to do, and they're so beautiful. I think they're beautiful. Set this one up just a little bit, which will probably promptly fall right back over, but look at these pretty little yellow cosmos, and I'm going to have to hold it because it's trying to fly away in the wind, but isn't that a pretty little cosmos? I didn't get around to trying to get some of this started in another pot, but I got to thinking that it might not make it in a smaller pot. I have some back here in this one, but I just started this last spring, so I don't know if it will make it through the winter. I heard we're supposed to have a colder winter, but those, you can't really always go by that. You can basically go by the day. Like I tell my husband, I can tell it's going to rain if I feel little wet droplets falling out of the sky. But I love this. It's just got a little lacy, filigree, beautiful powdery look to it. And I would like to get some started in other places in the garden. And this is that Artemisia, if I'm pronouncing that anywhere near right. And it's also called wormwood. It's a beautiful plant. Look at this beautiful little ghost honeysuckle vine. It just doesn't quit, does it? Look at those pretty little circles of color. And actually I see these floating around on the ground when after the frost, when they have fallen off. There'll still be little bits and pieces of them. And I've seen these particular kind of a dry plant in some of the potpourris. It's just a pretty little plant. I love it. Doesn't get out of hand at all, and it's just almost always beautiful. And I did not get around to really cleaning out my little water garden, and so much of it died this early spring hard cold that we had for 10 days, so they didn't have much of a chance. I think I may have lost all of my cattails, so I found these little silk arrangements with cattails in them, and I thought there's for my water garden, so that's where they went, and I think they look good. But I'm anxious to this spring get it going again, get it where it's got live plants in it. More so, actually, this little, I'm not sure what this even is right now. I was hoping it was cattails, but it's not. But it may be one of either the Japanese iris or one of the Siberian irises that I put in here. So hopefully, and this little one here didn't make it, but I put one from another area in here, and part of it is still alive, so if it will make it through the winter and be back next spring, that'll be one little thing we'll have ready to go. I don't know if I can get it for you good, but there's a little white black-eyed Susan vine blooming right here. I was just thinking how this little container looked last year after the frost. Oh my goodness, it's hard to see something this beautiful and healthy and so full of life just all of a sudden go limp and brown and no life there at all. This is an annual, of course. The pretty impatiens are, and they'll only come back from seed. They won't come back or from a new little plant in the spring. That's how I usually do it, is I just get little new plants in the spring so that they'll have a better chance to get up and going quickly where we can enjoy them longer. I love the impatiens, though. They do fill out wonderfully, kind of like petunias do, only for me the impatiens seem to last better and longer in the garden unless the snails or roly-polies take them out, and they can do that before you even realize, and they'll be gone. And I know how lucky I am to still have these beautiful coleus, because they do not like the cold. When it gets in the 40s, they begin to turn their little leaves up and turn brown and give it up. But so far they've hung on, and we have had some 40 degree, or not actually 40 degree, but in the 40s. I think so far we've only gone down to like 47, so hopefully they will make it at least until Friday when I have my last get together, and then I'll let it go if I have to. Of course, if the Lord gives me some more beautiful days to just enjoy it myself, that's what I will definitely want to do, because I'm definitely a person that I feel more comfortable when I'm just alone, and I never feel alone. I feel alone with God, and that's a wonderful feeling, and it's not the same as feeling lonely, because you can definitely feel lonely in a huge crowd of people. Sometimes that's when I'm my loneliest and wishing I was somewhere else, but that's just the way I am. But I do love people, but it's true that people do make me nervous. My husband makes me nervous. Not on a normal day-to-day basis, but if I'm doing something a little tedious and touchy anyway, and he comes along to, well, I wouldn't say help, but I'm quite sure he means it to be help, but it just doesn't work out that way. And I just get so nervous that before when I was struggling, now it's impossible is how that usually works. Oh, look at this beautiful purple heather today. Isn't that pretty? But anyway, you know that we're just made up differently, and that's just my makeup. And of course our life, how we grew up. I grew up in the country, and we grew up poor, which meant we didn't go anywhere. So I was just kind of there in the country, and I loved it. But honestly, I do love having more things. You can tell I do. I love things. I love stuff. All that stuff. It doesn't even have to be a big or expensive thing. If it's a beautiful thing, or if it depicts something beautiful, I'm usually right there into that. still have not got my coleus clippings in either, so I'm trying to watch the weather, but I've been so busy I've missed some, so I need to keep an eye out for when the temperatures are going down. I definitely want to get a few of these little clippings to put in the windows and try to save so we can have this back in the garden. I don't know the name of this, but I'm quite sure it should have the word jewels in it. It's just so bright and colorful. I've been saying it belongs in our Kelly's jewelry store because it looks like a jewel. So far, this is the only one of this little daisy mum, this color that I've seen in my garden. I thought I had more. I'm pretty sure I used to. So if I don't have more, I definitely want to try to get some more of these started. Oh, here it is. I thought I had some more of this pretty little red and yellow mum. Update. I found another bag of fall decor in the storage building, so I put a few more things in the garden. I think the little birds are all still excited about the smorgasbord they're being served. And I found quite a bit more to go on this little area, and I like it much better now that it's fuller and has a lot more autumn color there. It just brings the other colors out and it just looks better. I'm much happier with it now. Looks so pretty. I'm just going to enjoy it myself, and I think others will too. I hope you do. So, while I did so much work, this is what my husband did. And that is a joke. Sort of. You know, one of them sort of jokes. Because he actually did help me quite a bit. But he also said that's enough of this for a while. And I was just, you know, going and going like a, oh, my friend Charlotte used to say, like a 90-day clock. Wound up like a 90-day clock. So today is the day. It's finally here, and I'm glad because I get so hyper and so much anxiety that I actually be glad when it's over. But I will love it. Gardens are totally to share. It wouldn't be as much if we didn't share it. Even though I love it when someone else loves it too, and when we share the experience of it together, and the plants. And the garden is so much like life. You know, you want to share your life with someone, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing to have friends and family that love you. I was also going to say that God gave us a beautiful day for our little garden get together. And you know, at this time in the season, that's always iffy. So it's just a miracle practically. You know, everything's been a miracle with me this year. But really it has, to have the cool and the rain like we have had. It's just been so wonderful. A special thanks to all who came to the party. You made my day. And to all who are watching it on the YouTube channel, I appreciate you so much. Please be sure to like and to subscribe to the channel.